Okay, so that's a crazy story. You are the announcer, and you're known for the voice of the UFC. Now, Let's Get Ready to Rumble is your brother,
Yes.
Michael Buffer.
Right.
And he is the
Legendary
voice
greatest
of
announcer of all time.
boxing.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Is even like Super Bowls and like every major event, Let's Get Ready to Rumble. So it's the two of you. But you met each other at 30 years old. You didn't even know of each other out there. You didn't even know that he existed.
He used to be out on the corner, he was dealing in drugs. Got himself a barber's chair and gave awesome cuts. Now he's a podcaster, his life, he'll talk about it with us. And now it's Jeff
I'm nervous, man. I don't even know how to address this. I got nothing planned. I feel like I'm giving a speech at my wedding day. But Oscar's back in the bathroom. The other boys are sick. But you know what? I think it's better off that it's this way. I think everything happens for a reason. Whatever it was that caused us to lose Bruce about a year ago, it was a pivotal moment in Jeff FM history. And yeah, I nearly relapsed. I was going to kill myself. I was going to kill Oscar. I was going to go on a killing spree. Look, whatever. This is one of the happiest days of my life. I've gone through hell over the past year. I've also had some great moments. I've, run the fastest marathon time. I won the LA Marathon. There's a bunch of other achievements. The live show that we just did went great. Oscar wasn't able to make it because he had another big shot job that he had booked beforehand. It's our fault. We had booked the show before he had done that. But he surprised me by finding the audio to the Bruce Buffer episode that caused us all to fight, and it tore our team apart. And I never thought that we could move on. It was a 3-week hiatus. I went skydiving, nearly died. I just didn't think that we would be able to have a guest on and I could confidently interview them knowing that the footage would be there when we wrapped the episode. When we lost this footage, it was from a corrupted hard drive. Now, I'm not a tech guy, obviously, as you could tell. I'm number one. I'm the leader of the show, the talent. I show up, I do my questions, I interview the guests, I make you guys laugh, and that's all that I do. And then I go home after. I'm in this studio's in my house, but I go upstairs and go to bed.
I do want to say that the files were there. They just didn't have any data on them.
Some freak accident happened. And, stuff like that happens. And I've been in therapy since. This actually put me in therapy. This fucking Bruce Buffer episode, losing it, put me into therapy. And whatever. Therapy's good, and I think everybody should do it. Oscar was able to recover the audio to the Bruce Buffer episode that I was a drama queen about, and I cried like a little baby for a year about. And we just had the audio, and I was like, all right, well, it's a year later. Are we just going to run the audio? And as I was in the hospital due to my seizure, crane brain, whatever you want to call it, I'm healthy now. Don't worry, guys. I had the seizure in the hospital. You'll find out more about that at a later date when I can talk about it. But as of now, let's have a good time because Oscar was able to find some AI technology, and it's been so long that, this has happened. The episode's a bit dated. We did try to clean up some stuff and, cut some stuff, but bear with us. It's just crazy how far it's come since then. But actually, it's not. My face is kind of ridiculously blown out. I have a Botox smile the whole time. We intentionally made Mike look stupid, and Bruce sort of has like a mean face on, which, I didn't want to go back after Oscar had surprised me with this episode and say, hey, I choose different pictures because it takes like days to render each face.
Also, Bruce's picture is like the only screenshot that we have from that episode, so I had to work with what I had.
At least we had that, and I know I hyped this episode up like it was the best thing ever, and it was me more of being a boss here, a leader of a podcast team and crew, a production company, that, I wanted to get my point across that we needed to make some changes. And since then, we have backups in every camera now, and we run like 3 backups per podcast, and we've learned a lot from it. But, the podcast gods have blessed us with this Bruce Buffer episode, and you guys finally get to see what I was talking about. And hopefully you enjoy it. Hopefully it's able to be watched. Hopefully you could just watch it on your phone or from a TV that's far away and just pretend that it's a regular podcast episode. Or maybe just laugh about the mistakes, because that's sort of what this show is about, is us leaning into the fuck-ups that we have. And that's what this is. As you see me smiling like this the whole time to Bruce, just remember that, we're trying our best here.
That's also just because the screenshot I got of you was you smiling.
I don't have Botox. I just woke up, and that was this AI program fucking whatever. I'm happy.
Steven looks pretty funny.
Steven, too. I thought you had his camera footage. Steven looks perfectly.
I showed Steven, and he's like, what are you showing me? I'm like, this is literally not you.
Yeah, Steven doesn't look AI'd at all. I think Steven's just child face just went perfect with the program, and he's just whatever. Here it is, guys. Bruce Buffer on Jeff FM. I told you I wasn't fucking lying, and now I can finally enjoy UFC fights and get to that main event. And when he goes, "It's time," I can not want to kill Oscar. And
I just mute the fights till they start.
Yeah, it's just such a weird feeling that people will never understand. They say don't meet your idols. Not saying Bruce is my idol, but he's one of them. I love the UFC. I love Bruce. His story is insane. So enjoy, guys. We'll be back this week with another episode with the normal guest and back to regular scheduled programming. But I'm just excited that we finally got this back and we could finally get it out and put it behind us. And the whole team's back together. Who can say that in the YouTube world? What group has stayed together for, what have we been together, all of us, like 7 years now? I think we hired Kyle when he was 18 or 19.
Yeah.
Groups break up. Nobody lasts this long. And it's because shit happens in production. And, yeah, maybe I needed to learn that and be a little more open-minded to hard drives and things I don't understand going wrong. But also
just saying,
we could have ran backups.
No, just saying, H3's crew messes up too. Not to like hate on like Dan or anything like that, but they did have
fight Dan.
No, they had a button incident, and Dan also sent you a video saying that mistakes happen in production, and that was before their button incident.
Whatever. H3 is not the perfect example. They're great, and they're I love them, but fuck Dan. Still. No. All right. Let's just get on with it, because I made such a big deal about this for a year, and let's just get it over with, because people are probably going to tune out after the first. Wait to the end, because Bruce's story is really interesting, and I want you guys to hear that part with him and his brother and all that. But some of the dated stuff, just bear with us and just make sure you leave it on. And if you're not going to watch the whole thing, just put the volume down and
just leave a comment and say what you thought about it.
Yeah, thumbs up, share it, send it to your friends.
Share your thoughts on technology.
Yeah, make sure that it doesn't flop as an episode because it's a year old and
he almost killed himself over it.
This almost killed me this episode. So make sure it gets a lot of views, guys. All right, I love you. Let's run it. Shout out to Bruce Buffer. I didn't even know how to tell him that the episode was lost, because I was just like a little bitch about it. So, Bruce, this is me telling you what happened. I still haven't texted you and said why our episode hasn't come out. It's because the hard drive got corrupt, the files got corrupt, and we finally figured out with AI technology how to get the episode back. So we have your whiskey here promoted. We have all your stuff you promoted. We left it all in. We're fair. We're even. When I see you at a UFC event, I'm gonna come up and I'm gonna shake your hand and I'm gonna say,
"You should take a shot of his whiskey."
Relapse from it?
Relapse from Bruce Buffer.
No, I'm happy where I'm at in life, guys. Thank you for sticking around for the ride and not leaving when we lost Bruce, but we got him back. We brought him back to life. We resuscitated him, and that's what Jeff FM does. We're ahead of the wave. We're ahead of the curve here in technology. As always, we're the most innovative podcast on the internet, and we will continue to thrive and grow and use our anger as motivation and use our hatred as fuel for revenge. And that's a dangerous combination. We're coming for everybody. So we are back, baby. Let's roll it. Bruce Buffer, Jeff FM, episode 100. This episode is sponsored by SeatGeek. Are you guys looking to get out of the house and go see some live events? SeatGeek is the best place to buy tickets on the web. I'm looking to go to the World Series, and I'll be going, and I will be using my own promo code because it's no longer just a one-time use. It is now code Jeff10 to get 10% off any purchase on SeatGeek, whether you're a new customer or not. Even if you use my old code, you can use this new one. Sports, concerts, festivals, you name it. There are so many artists touring right now, including Post Malone, Sabrina Carpenter, Charlie XCX, Billie Eilish, and SeatGeek has you covered. Each ticket is rated on a scale of 1 to 10, so look for the green dots. Green means good and red means bad. So take out your phone, open the SeatGeek app, and add code Jeff10 to your account for 10% off your next tickets on SeatGeek. Use code Jeff10 for 10% off, up to $20 off your next purchase at SeatGeek. All right, thank you SeatGeek for sponsoring this show. Now let's get back on with this freak show.
Bruce Buffer coming here?
Possibly, potentially. We had some difficulties.
Show up.
Yeah, because he would be on time. I think something got mixed up.
Nah,
in the
he
email.
wasn't on time for our show. He
Actually,
was late for Impulsive, yeah.
really?
Yeah.
Well, then maybe he's still coming.
They told me the research for Bruce Buffer, and I watched the Impulsive podcast that y'all did with Bruce Buffer.
Don't even bring up any questions. We don't do reruns over here.
And he answered all my questions I had.
Okay.
On Impulsive.
Would this be my seat if Bruce Buffer was
You're going to have to sit next to Bruce. Listen, guys, today on the show, we may possibly have the voice of the UFC. Let me fucking retake that because he's the best speaker in the world.
It's time!
Ah, damn.
Sorry.
It's
time!
And he canceled. He's not going to. Now, listen, so that may happen today. Hopefully it does. We were in talks with his publicist. He's supposed to come by in a little bit. But also, even bigger guest. Right now, currently at the moment, we have an even bigger interview coming on the show. We have the Logan Paul lookalike Rodney, who was choked out by Nate Diaz recently. He's
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Until it's, yeah.
Allegedly he was choked out? I mean,
Yeah.
that was pretty...
I mean, it's innocent until proven guilty.
Okay.
In a court of law.
Okay.
So he was allegedly.
So all this type
Deep fakes, AI, like.
all this legal mumbo jumbo. We're gonna get to the bottom of it. We have a video of another angle where we may have some new information of the fight that happened, who started it, all that stuff. MMA channels, you're gonna eat this up.
I showed up today as like a fan. I love what you're doing over here at Jeff FM. Today's episode especially, like you got.
Bruce has a very interesting story. He's not just the voice of the UFC. He does have a crazy backstory. And I really hope that he makes it today because it's going to suck to do this whole intro and not have him show up. But
I think that's even funnier.
Then he'll come another day.
It's just so funny when shit like that happens.
Yeah.
It's a curveball, dude.
Yeah.
You know? Curveball, speedball, whatever you want to call it. You know?
Oh, there he is.
I can't believe
No
this.
way.
I can't.
No
Hey,
way.
surprise.
Yes.
It's.
Stop it. Don't start doing that already.
Did you do any research on this show? Like, who told you that it would be a good idea to come on here?
Good
I
question.
think it was the UFC, Lene over at UFC.
Get out of here. Someone at the UFC recommended us?
If I remember correctly, yeah.
That's great. Well, it's good to have you, Bruce. We're all big fans.
Yeah.
You know Mike. You did his show, the other stupid show that he does, Impulsive, with the Paul brother, whatever his name is.
That
Paul.
stupid show. I think I was on that stupid show.
Yeah. So I told my boy Steven here to do some research on you. He just watched that episode. So don't ask any questions that were asked.
He
on
answered all my
Impulsive.
questions on Impulsive.
Yeah. Listen, I know your story, and it's incredible. I feel like somebody's going to make a movie on it someday if they're not already. Are they? Is anybody making a movie on your story?
I come from the school of thought that you don't talk about things till it's signed on the dotted line. I will tell you that there's definitely a lot of interest, and things are in the works
Okay.
for the potential, but it's Hollywood.
I want to play you in that movie. Young Bruce.
I was thinking that somebody told me once that Ryan Reynolds would be good to play me.
Okay, yeah, I'm kind of like a young Ryan Reynolds. That's what I
Well,
get a lot of my
Wow,
comments.
he's making his pitch, huh?
All right, but speaking of that, I know like the story and everything. We'll get into it. I know you have to tell it all the time, but that's what we signed up for in this game. You know, we go on podcasts, we repeat the story
It's okay.
to different audiences. But before you got into announcing the stuff you're known for now, you had a very interesting life. You're probably the most excited I've been for a guest out of
Oh, wow.
He's a
everybody we've
huge,
done 9
massive
hours.
fight fan. Massive fight fan.
Oh, that's awesome.
We actually hired you for a job. I was doing a weight loss series a while back where I had a bunch of overweight comedians do like to see who could lose the most weight in like 2 weeks. It was like a comedy show, and I hit you up on Cameo for an intro. You did the intro for our show on Cameo. Speaking of Cameo, you could hit up Bruce to get your own. Are you still doing that?
Yeah, I'm in the top 10% of cameos.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm not surprised.
I'm like the top 10. They told me the top 10%. I do a ton of cameos every week. Weddings, birthdays, introduction to babies, championship introductions.
Bar mitzvahs?
Whatever. Bar mitzvahs I've done, graduation now, Father's Day, Mother's Day. People also write into my website at brucebuffer.com. You know, businesses want social media posts or, you know, videos for their business. It ranges. I
You ever
basically
show
do
up?
everything.
You ever show up in person for a bar mitzvah?
Only a couple buddies over the years, but
That would have to be a big check, right? 6 figures minimum to get in there. A bar
He's
mitzvah.
laughing because it's really 8.
It's true.
It's 8 figures.
Oh yeah.
You're a couple zeros short.
you know, I think we all do well in life. I never like to talk about money, but I will tell you, obviously, there's appearance fees involved. And
Yeah.
I don't like to gouge anybody on their special day. That's why we charge really a good rate for wedding videos and all these things. Because the thank you notes we get into our office, my partner Kristen and I, we get tears in our eyes sometimes. The thank yous that people give us for their weddings and the birth of the babies and on and on and on. I can't begin to tell you the variety of videos I get requested.
Any weird ones? You ever had? What's the weirdest one you ever had requested?
On Cameo one time, somebody wrote in and they wanted me to say, it's time to go on your way or something like that or whatever.
Oh, like a death, like farewell?
No, I thought it was more
eulogy?
like I thought it was more like he was doing this for his girlfriend because she was getting a new car, she was getting a new job.
Yeah.
And I forget exactly what I said, but it went viral because he was breaking up with her.
Oh no. And
I-
you did a breakup message?
Well, I would never do that. I'm not going to do a breakup message.
do him the favor. It's going to be awkward for
No,
him.
it's
Have
not.
Bruce
no.
do it.
I don't like to
Only
hurt.
300?
I don't wake up every morning to hurt people. I wake up every morning to motivate people, help people, make them feel good, you know, the way I want to feel myself. So I kind of got tricked, basically. It went viral. As a result, I got a lot more videos.
So it worked.
And I've had people request, you know, breakup videos again, but I won't do them. I've had people actually request their eulogy. So when they die, they would have the video ready to go.
Yeah, because there's
for
some
their
diehard UFC fans out there.
What would you say in that circumstance?
You know what? At that point, you got to write the script and give me some pointers because I'm not quite sure.
But you turn it on every time. You know, you do this in one take. Those cameos.
Yeah, that's my specialty. I'm a one-take guy.
Does it
Did
share,
everything in one take, yeah.
Yeah.
That's why you're
share the
paid.
notes live when you're recording it, like on the screen?
On a cameo, you just basically, it comes in and it's pretty incredible, this app. And you just hold it up, the script's right there. You know, give yourself a setting, whatever you're doing, and you do it. And I offer the same services. I have a company called millions.co, .co, which is a company I started as a founder with a Canadian group. It's incredible. And we have over 3,000 plus athletes there. A lot of UFC fighters, Shevchenko sisters and stuff. And on that site on millions.co.
Shevchenko?
The Shevchenko sisters,
Oh, okay.
Valentina Shevchenko.
Yeah,
my
yeah.
sister. On that site, you can do videos also like Cameo, but the videos you can do a Cameo style video, or the athletes will do like ask me anything you want, you know, ask Valentina anything you want, ask all the other athletes there, and we brand them with all their merchandise and show them how to brand themselves because I'm a brander.
Yeah.
And I don't want fighters, especially aside from all the football, basketball, college, everybody that's on there, professional and otherwise. I don't want you to wait till fight night to get your paycheck. I want you to have bread and butter coming in and learn how to brand yourself. 'Cause
Yeah.
that's what business is all about. You brand yourself. You brand
Always
yourself.
on
The
revenue.
name on the
yeah.
wall. I got
Yeah.
my boys. I'm building his brand up.
Exactly.
You know, I'm taking him under my wing. I'm kind of doing the same thing, I guess.
If you could do it like ask any question to Valentina, like you could actually submit one. Is there a
Is
question?
she single? Is she?
Ask,
Would
Are
that
you
you can
single?
ask her anything.
submit it at millions.co?
Okay.
To my knowledge, she might be. I do not know. Thank you very much,
Gotcha.
millions.co.
Do you think she would only want to date another fighter though?
I can't answer that question.
Because how would she date a guy that she could beat in a fight?
The coworker. You're asking him about his coworker.
I know.
You gotta
I
ask that.
apologize.
You gotta ask that.
I did that with Ngannou, and I
You got game. That's a question you got to do for yourself.
Okay. All right.
But anyway, check out when you get a chance. Check out millions.co. It's very fascinating. It's a great
Absolutely. So I know you said you don't like to talk money, but there's a thing that's viral of you. Like everybody talks about how much is Bruce getting paid per word that he says in the octagon. There's rumors that it's $25,000 a word, $100,000 a word. How does this even make sense? What are you just made of money, Bruce?
Let me put it this way: if I was getting 25,000 a word, 100,000 a word, I'd be on the cover of Forbes. Okay?
That's what I was saying. Why would he even be coming here to do this if he's making just $1 million a night?
I don't care how much money you make in life. When you have a chance to have a great interview, when you have a chance to come on and talk about things that's going on in your life, your branding, products that I represent.
Yeah.
I'm very selective about the interviews I do. So don't know why I did yours.
Same.
No, I'm kidding. I love Logan. It's all part of the job. I mean, when you're out there and you're building your brand, you've got to publicize your brand. If you don't tell people you exist, how do they know you exist?
Yep.
Yeah.
Right. If you don't ask for the sale, how do you get a sale?
Yeah.
If you're waiting for things to happen, they're usually not going to happen unless you get lucky. You got to make things happen. I come from the school. I wrote this in my book. It's time. It's called BSC. Ball, skill, and confidence. You got to have all three aspects, whether you're sitting down at the table, going into a fight, making a business deal. And there's always that 10, 20% luck factor, as there is in poker. I'm a big poker player. You got to have a lot of skill to play at a high level, but you still need that 10, 20% luck factor.
Yeah. Even in fighting, you catch a good shot in there, it's 10% luck, I guess.
You can do all the betting you want on fighting. It could be 10-1, 5-1, underdog,
No, I'm saying
whatever.
you in a fight. Like a fighter's got to be in there, got to be confident, got to be trained, skilled, cardio, but also there is probably like a little tiny luck factor in fighting.
Yeah, there could be. The bottom line is in a fight, anybody can win on any given day.
Just one shot.
Yeah, the point I was making before is that, it really doesn't matter. I don't care what the odds are. We see it all the time. Anybody can win on any given day. That's the beauty of the fight.
Strike first.
Strike first.
That'll help your odds.
Yeah.
You've been in street fights. I looked you up. I searched you up.
Didn't you fight in like an elevator or something?
All over the
boy,
place. He
here
beat
we
a
go.
guy up on the beach.
That's all, I can't
Some
remember
big guy he beat up on the beach that time. You kicked him, front kicked him, broke his nose, busted him up.
That was one of those classic high school fights where it was a I don't even like to talk about fighting in my fights, but on that one I'll give you a little one, okay? It was in high school, the typical movie scene. It was Zero Beach out in Malibu. All the houses were being taken away to make it a public beach. It was the last big beach party. I mean, I lived the life of Point Break. I just never robbed a bank.
So
okay?
you were Bodie or you were Keanu Reeves' character?
Well, I'm Keanu Reeves 10 years into surfing, let's put it that way.
Okay.
But whatever it was, I was Bruce Buffer doing my thing. I met a lot of Bodies in my life, okay? But getting back to the story, everybody's there. It's all Santa Monica High School where I graduated high school. I'm up there. I'm with my girlfriend. We're listening to music, enjoying ourselves. Somebody runs up from the beach and says, Buff, you got to come down. This guy's beating everybody up. Oh, great. Okay, good. So I run down to the beach. I was running down to the beach. I see this guy just cold cock this girl I know, just one punch, laid her out.
Damn.
After he knocked out her boyfriend. And I'm like, oh, no, this is not happening. So I went up to him and I said, hey, you got to get out of here now.
Yeah.
Right? In so many words, without going into all the detail. And then, he gave me the old F you and this, that, and the other. And then a big guy, too. I found I was a middle linebacker at Loyola High School afterwards. And then all of a sudden I see that big fist just coming right for my head. And I was training a lot back then. So, yeah, I did hit him with, I actually hit him with a solar plex punch, right here.
You went for the body?
Yeah, I went
Is there
for
a
the
reason
body.
why you went for the body over the face?
You know what? The thing is that when you got a big guy like that, you can hit him there, right? Stun him for a second, then do whatever you got to do.
Yeah.
Anyway, it got ugly.
And if cops come, there's no marks on the face.
I don't think about that. I just think about survival. If
Yeah.
there's a street fight, all you want to think about is survival. You got to think that somebody's going to try and kill you and just get the hell out of there.
Yeah, smart.
Without sounding macho or anything, it was a big fight. Okay, I'll tell you the story. It was a big fight. It's all over. It's
You
done.
don't have to go into all of it, Bruce. I want you to have fun here.
It's okay. It was a pretty good brawl.
Yeah.
Okay, and I came out of it on top.
Uh-huh.
And my Pendleton shirt was ripped open, and blood's all over me. Not my blood, his blood. And I went back home, and I I threw it on the washer and the dryer, you know. I went to bed and I made the mistake of not throwing it away. I came out the next morning and my dad's at the table. I wrote about this in my book. My dad's at the table and he looks at me and goes, "So what happened last night?" You know, and I told him the story. He goes, "Good, you defended a girl's honor. Good for you." Because my dad probably got me into more fights and introduced me to more girls than any best friend I ever had in my life. He was a real man's man, old breed type character. And then as we're talking, the phone rings and he picks it up and he goes, "How many? Where are you? Okay. All right. We'll be there in 20 minutes." Right? Hangs up the phone, grabs a 38 snub nose, sticks it in his belt. Right?
Wasn't expecting
Wow,
that.
I didn't see that in,
Yep,
the,
yep.
in the book.
Yep.
And then he said, "Get in the car." He said, "Get dressed and get in the car." I go, "Why?" He goes, "Well, the guy you fought last night, he's down at the market threatening your buddy Bob Ryan with a knife and wondering where you live and this, that, and the other. And we're going to go down there." I said, "We're going to go down there?" I said, "What do you mean?" He goes, "Well, you're going to have to take care of business again." And I said, "Really?" I said, "Dad, what's the gun for?" He goes, "Well, if his friends do anything, I'm going to hold them off. You're going to take care of this. You're going to take care of business."
You got to tie up loose ends.
This
You
is
can have
all
an open
great.
beef out there. You got to wrap it up.
Yeah,
So
wrap it up.
Especially in Malibu.
Yeah.
in Malibu.
This is old breed, okay? This is going back, okay, like 1975, okay? So you can't do that today, of course. And luckily, no gun got pulled, no anything. This is just my wild old man that he was. And we went down there, and by the time we got there, they had split. So nothing happened.
He got lucky.
He got lucky.
He got
He doesn't know how close he got. Well, I'm sure he does now because he's probably listening to Jeff FM.
Well, even though I was all, excited because I came out on top the night before and everybody saw the fight. It was the talk of the town for a week. Okay, yada, yada, yada. I no more wanted to go into it again than the man on the moon.
Yeah.
So, whatever. It's my dad.
So you have a background in MMA. You were doing this all before you ever thought you would be involved in UFC? Or
My background in martial arts is at 12 in Philadelphia. I studied judo. I got a green belt. I moved out to Malibu, California when I was 15, which is kind of like culture shock a bit. I immediately took to the world of surfing. I met two of Chuck Norris's fighting partners and two of his black belt students. Started training with them, and all we did was train in the art of Tong Soo Do. So we trained, we sparred, we fought, we surfed. Went to school. Just
literally Point Break. If you throw
it was
Robin
like-
Banks
it
in
was-
there,
no robbing banks. But I trained in a number of different styles, and then I competed at the internationals in Long Beach one year. And the whole point fighting aspect of dojo karate fighting is great. Don't get me wrong, it's great. But when you have, and you know what it's like to get hit and hit for real, I wanted to train in a more realistic form of fighting. Not that that's not realistic. I'm not saying that. So kickboxing became my world.
Mm-hmm.
And I went heavily into kickboxing for 10 plus years. And then when I was 32 and I had my two companies, I wanted to have one pro fight just to say I did it.
Okay.
Just to say I had one. And I started training. And I got concussed during the whole process a couple times. And the last one was not the best one. And I went to the doctor, and he basically, long story cut short, just said, "Look, is this how you make money?" I go, "No, I make plenty of money doing what I do." He said, "Then stop."
Yeah.
Because what you're experiencing now, you're going to experience worse when you're in your 40s and your 50s. And you train all you want, but just stop the head trauma.
Same lesson Logan got.
Oh, did he get the same one?
Yeah, I mean, more or less. He doesn't need to be in the ring. Taking overhand.
He needs to be in the ring. He needs to get back in the ring.
Taking overhand rights from KSI. Hey, did you see that last KSI fight?
No, I was busy. I was at a UFC.
Well, so it looks like he's coming to UFC.
KSI?
Yeah.
Yeah, he did it. Caught him with a Muay Thai elbow.
Oh, I saw that. But yeah, he didn't want to win that way, though.
No,
Exactly,
it sucked. It sucked. Yeah.
Did they pull that? Did they give it a no contest?
Yeah, they did. So now his record's like 2-0-1-1.
A few ones.
It's like a zip code at this point. How many numbers can you have in a record?
I think he's got all of them.
Four's
He
maxed
has the no
out.
contest. He has the draw.
A tie versus Logan. No losses, 2 wins.
Yeah.
There's
I
no
guess
other
it's maxed
category
out.
like an
DQ?
act of
I guess
God.
that goes into
Yeah,
no
like act of
contest.
God.
Act of God might be. Yeah, that might have to be a new one. They might have to
Dr.
call that into the
Stoppage.
commission.
Let me
Dr.
Talk about
Stoppage.
Dr. Stoppage.
Dr. Stoppage.
It's out there that goes into
Kovakovic.
yeah.
Let me say one thing about fighting. I think all of us have had our experiences, some worse than others. But yeah, I've had quite a few experiences like that, and it's made me appreciate when I get into martial arts and the training for it. And I love martial arts. I just have always been into martial arts my whole life, even before I even started training.
Yeah.
Watching the movies, it's just fascinating. When the UFC came on the scene, I related to it very strongly, although it was a spectacle back then, right? It was blood sport. It was like, which style was the best style? And I remember when Hoist Gracie first came out, and I think I told the story in your show. I have to tell this one. When Hoist Gracie first came out with his arms on his brother's back, I looked at everybody I was watching the show with, and I said, see that skinny kid? He's going to beat everybody, right? And there were these mad behemoths, and people are thinking the bigger you are, the harder you fall or the harder you hit. I think the UFC has diffused a lot of theories about fighting.
Absolutely.
And the reason I said that was in 1991 when I was kickboxing, training very heavily, a famous director named John Milius, and he said, hey, Buff, come to Torrance with me. You got to train some jiu-jitsu, right? And I said, I've trained some jiu-jitsu. He goes, no, you never trained Gracie jiu-jitsu. So he took me to the dojo, and we walk in the dojo, and out comes this tall, skinny young man. And he goes, hi, my name is Hoist. Come with me, right?
Oh,
So
Hoist himself.
Hoist himself. They used to have the Gracie Challenge and stuff back then. And he took me into one of their dojo rooms, all padded up, closed the door, just him and me. And he said, I understand you're a kickboxer. Very nice. Come at me. Take my head off, right? I said, really? He said, yeah, let's do, let's have some fun. And I said, you want me to put on some gloves? He goes, no, let's just do this, right? So I went at him. I throw a couple punches. He gets underneath my punches, and within like 45 seconds, give or take, I'm on the ground. He's got me in a side choke. He's choking me out, right? And he goes, tap, tap, tap. So I tap, and I'll never forget it. He gets up in the guard, straightens out his gi, and he goes, see? Isn't it nice not to get hit in the face, right? Which,
Were you trying to hit him with shots, though? Were you trying to, like, because they
yeah, but
hands.
I wasn't trying to, like,
Yeah.
go at it full force, but, it's a session, right?
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I hate to cut this short right now. We could get back into the interview, but that viral video that surfaced recently about Nate Diaz when he choked the guy that looked like Logan Paul, the lookalike?
Did you see that?
Have you seen that?
Yeah.
It's going all over the MMA channels and everything. Everybody's looking for this guy, trying to get an interview with him. We were able to get a hold of him.
Oh, really?
He's going to call in, and we're just going to talk to him about it because nobody's heard anything out of him. And it's just,
I never saw a single interview with this guy.
It's exclusive.
nobody's interviewed him ever.
We
He's never done an
We couldn't
interview.
even get him on Impulse.
He instigated it, right?
That's what we're going to ask him about. That's a great question.
Yeah.
You
I mean,
could chat with him too if you want to ask him that.
It's real simple. Well, he might not be able to say anything because Nate got arrested.
That could
So
be
he
it
may
too.
not be able to say a word.
He might just be calling in just to.
If he said he instigated it, then Nate's free.
That's true.
In my opinion.
Yeah.
You put your hands on me like
Because
this,
he
and
did,
you do
he
a
did
number.
come at him like with his hands up,
I know.
and he was like,
I
don't
know
know if
this
he was,
dude pretty well. He's not much of an instigator. He's more of a pacifist.
You know him?
Do we have him?
Logs?
That looks like Logan.
Oh, he's calling in right
Oh no,
now.
that is. I called. Did I give you the number for Logan, Oscar? Or is that?
It's Rogan.
Rogan, Joe Rogan.
Mix of Logan and no, just Rogan and Logan. I don't know. Ogan.
I like this guy.
All right, hey guys, welcome back to the 2024 version of me, and let's do another ad. It's time for another ad. Your guys' favorite parts of the show. This episode is sponsored by Hims. Guys, sometimes intimate moments happen spontaneously, and we always want to be ready so we can perform in the bedroom. Hims provides access to treatments that can help you stay hard and last longer, giving you that boost of confidence so you can be ready whenever your mood strikes. Your sex life is important, but your schedule is busy. You don't have the time to go to the doctor's office and get treated for ED. Through Hims, you can get a personalized ED treatment without stepping foot outside your door. That's right, it's super easy. You just go online, you fill out a couple forms, you talk to a doctor. Next thing you know, you rock hard. Hims is changing men's health care by providing you with access to affordable sexual health treatments from the comfort of your couch. Hims provides access to a range of doctor-trusted ED treatments like chewable hard mints. Oh, damn, mints. That's cool and smart. And, kill two birds with one stone. Viagra, Cialis, and their generics for up to 95% cheaper. The process is 100% online, so there's no need for uncomfortable doctor visits where you go in and say, hey, doc, I can't get hard, and then you walk outside and then you bump into your ex-girlfriend and she looks at where you're walking out of and it says erectile dysfunction store. And she says, oh, how things been? And then you're just like, just go use Hims, go online, everything's discreet and safe. No insurance is needed, and one low price covers everything from treatments to ongoing care. With hundreds of thousands of trusted subscribers, Hims can help you find the ED treatment that works for you. Start your free online visit today at hims.com/JeffFM. That's HIMS.com/JeffFM for your personalized ED treatment options. hims.com/JeffFM. The products mentioned are chewable compounded products which are not approved by or verified for safety or effectiveness by the FDA. Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscriptions required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan. Thank you, Hims, for sponsoring the episode. Now let's get back on with this freak show.
Sorry about that, guys.
Rodney, good to see you.
Good to see you, man. How's it going? How you holding up?
I'm doing okay. Thanks for having me on, bud.
Rodney, we got Bruce Buffer here in the studio with us, the legend. Can you see? We're having a little trouble there, you know, working out the kinks here. It's a new show, Bruce.
That's okay.
We're only 100 episodes in.
Oh, it's the 100th episode?
No, 99.
Oh, shit. What are we going to do? Oh.
I'll come back next week. I want to be on the 100.
Can you do the intro for the 100?
Okay.
Rodney, how you doing? We got Bruce Buffer here, the legend.
Hey, Bruce, it's an honor.
Hi.
I appreciate you having me on.
Thank you, Rodney.
I'm sorry about my subpar audio.
You know, it's fine. You sound great now. How you holding up? How you feeling? Are you still concussed?
I have my moments. I'm feeling a lot better than what I was. Every day. Yeah, I still have my moments, but yeah. No, I wasn't expecting to get that done by Nate Diaz. Jesus, it was wild.
Yeah, we saw that. We've been seeing the video everywhere. Obviously, it went super viral. Every MMA channel on YouTube is talking about it, and nobody has the real story, or at least any story. I don't think anybody has heard either side of the story. So, you know, we want to know what happened. Mike's here. He came all the way over here to hear this. Bruce flew
What's
in
up, bro?
for this.
What's up,
Bruce flew in for this interview to hear what you had to say. You know, so go ahead, Rodney.
That's a nice build up. That's great.
That's great.
Bruce canceled out a UFC event. He pulled out to be here.
Go ahead.
It is an honor to be on here, Jeff, Bruce, Mike, Jeff. Thank you, guys.
You're welcome, Rodney.
But no, I did not approach Nate Diaz for any physical altercation. It was just de-escalation.
It's when those hands, he's doing it now.
I was standing next to Chase Demir. I got invited to the Misfits after party. Okay, so I got to say why I was there in the first place. I wasn't there just trying to hunt anyone down.
Yeah.
Cameras were off. No one was rolling in any of that. All right. I wasn't worried about views. I wasn't thinking anything that physical, I wasn't thinking he was going to think I was a threat.
Yeah. Were you a fan of Nate? Were you a fan of Nate?
I was.
Oh, not anymore? Not anymore.
You know, I gotta ask you, Rodney, with Nate being arrested, are you limited as what you could say?
Yeah. Turned himself in for 4 hours. Now, I wasn't the only one assaulted in that, but 100% of the people doing the assaulting were Nate Diaz and his crew. Every single one of the ones attacking people were aiming at Chase Demir.
Yeah.
And just going after whoever got in the way.
Let me follow up with a question really quick on the Chase guy. Now, Chase had been a part of, multiple altercations throughout the course of that day, had thrown chairs,
Well, at first, he ground and pounded the guy in a boxing match.
it was DQ'd for absolutely, going caveman style on somebody in the middle of the ring.
I saw that video. That was crazy.
So are you prepared right now to point an overall convicted finger of blame at Chase Demir for everything that happened that day? Would you make that statement and for pretty everything?
Everything that happened at the boxing event, okay, is all like inside the ring. He took it too far, 100%, and he knows that. He apologized. Whatever was said between him and Nate threw a water bottle at Chase, and then Chase threw a chair at Nate. And that shit's wild, but I thought it was staged. I thought it was like scripted, maybe pre-planned. I don't know. But It's crazy. There's thousands of people all the way around us, and all of a sudden Chase takes off. And I look over and I see Nate beelining like straight towards Chase. Okay. So it's like, all right. So I step in, I'm like, hey bro, calm down. Okay. And he steps forward, reaches forward, grabs two of my hands. Okay. With his right hand, he tosses my hand down, throws a right hook. Then with his left hand, he pulls me down, gets a guillotine choke. But it ain't no basic guillotine choke. Oh. It's the upper level black belt where your head's compressed against the chest. He's got it dug in deep. And immediately, two of his friends come in and hit me with hooks on my ribs. I was like,
and the when the
I was like,
when the
But,
friends
what was
came
that,
in, the refs didn't try to break it up when the friends came in because
no, there wasn't no ref on no street fight. Bro.
oh, okay, no refs.
Yeah,
Okay,
no,
got it, okay.
I don't like
Got it.
street fighting. Okay?
Got it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, but
I'll fight anybody in the ring.
Well,
But,
Well, no, well,
Rodney, I got to ask though again. What the point I was trying to make
Yes.
is Nate, as I understand, was arrested. So there's obviously going to be some legality issues here. Are you allowed to talk about this the way you're talking about it?
I'm not the one pressing the charges. I have not talked to any detectives
okay.
or anybody
Gotcha.
since the incident. That is the state of Louisiana, as far as I'm aware of. Like Logan's helping me with a civil suit, but like I wasn't worried about that either. I was all like, shit. When all this went down, I was in a total daze. Like I don't remember.
yeah.
I don't remember the following days. There's bits and pieces that are coming back, but like I don't remember waking up and filming. I don't remember posting that. I don't remember much of my trip home with my wife and kids.
That's called being concussed.
It was nuts.
That's it. So what's the goal? Do you want to run it back? Is it rematch? Is that what's on the horizon for us?
My doctor says no. I can't even do cardio training
Really?
for another 6 weeks. But 100%, I'm going to be back on that grind. I'm going to get back in. I had one influencer boxing match, and I won. Whoop.
Nice.
Misfits wants me on. So it's like, yes, super excited. So like that night before all the Nate Diaz shit, I was looking at big money in future endeavors through boxing and acting. It's all like,
Yeah.
I had no intention on any virality with the Nate Diaz shit.
And I appreciate you're doing your debut
all
interview
jokes
here.
aside, it could have very easily been a situation where my wife drove home without me. Like I could have been dead.
Damn.
But like, no, I do not like street fighting.
Well,
But
yeah, we're happy. We're happy that didn't happen,
Right.
Rodney. We're
I
happy
don't.
you're
I
still
don't
here.
recommend. I don't recommend street fighting to
No.
anybody. I've seen some very bad things happen. Stay away from it, guys. Don't keep your.
Absolutely.
Put a ceiling and a hold on your machismo. If you can avoid it, avoid
Stay
it.
in the house.
You know, somebody comes at you got to do what you got to do. But otherwise,
Yeah.
avoid it. It can get very bad.
Do you know what the road to recovery looks like? I have had some conversation with Mams over the past couple weeks, and evidently Misfits Boxing may potentially be interested in a fight, you versus Logan. And I know this hasn't been brought to you yet, but do you think that if that were to,
Get him a water, Steven. Give him your cigarette water.
do you know if that
I'm
if
6 weeks away. But like I said, I'll fight anybody. I don't want to fight Logan. Logan's awesome.
it's not about
But-
wanting to, but if
Yeah,
that
I'm
does
training, and
if that does happen,
I'm
could
gonna
you
win.
see it? Could you see a day where you actually could beat Logan? You know, based on his current record, do you think that you could beat Logan in a boxing match?
not dissing anybody. I won my first fight.
Yep.
Okay.
I'm training hard.
Math
I'm
checks out.
training to continue winning. Okay. Like,
So he would walk out
myself-
first. You would come out after him because he has the better record.
record,
Technically, that's how it
yeah.
goes, right, Bruce?
Yeah.
Goes by who has the better record. Walks
But
out
if we both
after,
walk
right?
out,
the one who's
like,
usually the one who has the more experienced record is the one that's going to walk in last.
Okay, gotcha. So
Usually,
there you go.
Usually.
There you go,
In
Rodney.
the world of influencing, is the one who has the most followers going to walk.
That's
in
how it
last.
works.
So, yeah,
Unbelievable, huh?
You know.
No, yeah, Logan's got me beat there.
Nice.
And by the way, I'm the voice of Prime, so I chose Prime over water. So.
There you go.
It's
We
prime
got-
time. There we go.
It's prime. Can't,
We gotta be getting paid for this shit.
Can't
Did
man.
I
fight
hear you
fate.
say that, Bruce?
Can't fight fate.
We're re-upping. We're re-upping, right? Are we re-upping? Let me give it to you.
Contract has been renewed.
It's
Contract.
prime time.
Oh, sick.
Nice.
It's prime time.
Yeah.
That's
Hit the
sick.
chin, Kyle.
It's like this when he says it.
That's sick. It's prime time.
Nice. All right, Rodney. Well, I'm happy everything's working out. I believe in you. I think your career is going to take off. Get in there, get back to training as soon as you're healthy, and call out a KSI lookalike. I think you need to find one and fight a KSI lookalike. I think that'd
I
be
can't say anything, but one of them already had.
okay. There you go.
And I appreciate all of the help and support.
We
Okay.
appreciate it, Rodney.
Make the right.
With
Make the
Nate
right.
Diaz shit, I've been getting death threats. So like, that's just crazy. But I don't hold any grudges against anybody because they're all spinning on the misinformation that was laid out before.
Well, Rodney, that's part of the game. We all get death threats.
And
So
just,
you know.
remember,
Yeah,
just remember, Rodney. People that talk don't do, and people that do don't talk. Okay, so
If
you're
you're
okay.
not getting hated
Nice.
on, you're not doing enough.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
A lot
Okay.
of analogies.
Take care of yourself. Heal properly. Listen to your doctors. Don't fall back in anything. Do everything 100% to get back to your normal self.
That's right. Take time to heal up.
Yep.
You're the man, Rodney. Thanks for calling in.
Guys.
All right, real quick, today's episode is sponsored by Prize Picks. We got the World Series going on right now, and there is no better way to play than just picking more or less. If you're like me and don't know much about sports, but just want to make it more interesting, Prize Picks is the best place to play real money sports action with over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings. Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. All you have to do is pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 100 times your cash. Run your game all season long on Prize Picks. I cannot shut up about Prize Picks. I've been telling all my friends about it because it makes watching sports so much more fun and interesting. Otherwise, I would not care. The other day, I was watching the NBA, and I was screaming about these women playing basketball. It was a world championship, and New York won. So that was pretty cool. I won, and that's what's more important than anything, than those women who have trained their whole life. This week on Prize Picks, I'm looking at the football board and selecting Patrick Mahomes for more than 1.5. You know, I'm going to do his rushing yards because I figure I got a feeling he's going to run it. That's what he's been doing lately. And also Travis Kelce because it's cool to see when they cut to Taylor Swift and he catches a touchdown pass. And they just need it. You know, it's all marketing and business and stuff. You know, they need him to do good. So get in on the action with Prize Picks. You can also just play along with some of your favorite celebs like Drewski or Sean O'Malley. Does he still do it? I don't know. They have some options where you can just pick what other celebs that know what they're doing. I just picked it, what they're playing, and just copy it, which is super cool too. I love doing that because I don't have to think, and I hate to think. Download the app today and use code Jeff to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Check it out for yourself. Prize Picks. Run your game. Download it now. Use code Jeff. Get that $50 when you put that $5 in. Thanks for doing that, Bruce.
Nobody should ever get within 3 feet of you, okay? Mm-hmm. Put your hand out. They touch you. They come in. They touch you. You have to do what you have to do.
Yeah. Well, he didn't touch Nick.
Whatever. Listen, if you play, you pay. Okay. So, I love Nate and Nick.
Same.
Right?
Yeah,
I have a picture of him on my refrigerator.
One thing to be sure of, one of those high school parties we used to go to, I don't know why people use their parents' house for 500 kids to come in or whatever. Mm-hmm. But if you heard that the Diaz brothers just walked through the door, you know that maybe something's going to happen.
Oh, yeah.
Evening.
Yeah,
You know?
big time.
I put it this way.
Yeah.
You know what? Each guy's got a puncher's chance.
Yeah.
Is this yours?
This is my bourbon, yeah.
Wow, nice. And I also saw you have that cologne. It's Time cologne.
Yeah, I didn't have any to bring over. I would have brought it to you. I know you tried it.
Mike
Yeah.
had
I
it.
use it.
Yeah.
I use it.
It's the number 1 selling cologne on Amazon. Has been ever since.
Really?
Yeah, it's the top selling cologne on Amazon.
Oh, that's huge.
insane.
It's huge.
That's
and,
massive.
And number 4 in the UK. We've had to restock. It's sold out numerous times. It's not even in the stores yet. I'm just selling it on Amazon. But
And it's called It's Time.
It's Time cologne. Bruce Buffer It's Time cologne, and it's a. Well, back it up. You tell me.
No, it's great. It's fantastic. I use it all the time.
And what is-
It's awesome.
What is this?
This I'm really proud of this. I can I show for a second?
Of course,
I just
yeah.
thought it was a great opportunity, and this is for you.
Oh, awesome.
So, do you drink bourbon?
I don't anymore, but I have.
I do. Right back.
Enjoy it. Yeah, there you go.
Go ahead,
We
get
go
a
get a
taste.
drink right now. What is it? Noon?
I wanted to have a spirit line for like 10 years. I was offered a tequila and a cachaça rum out of Brazil. I turned it down because I didn't like the product or the people that were doing it. I only like to do business with the best business people I could find and represent the best products I could find. So I heard they were making a bourbon. I went and met with them. When I saw the name, I thought, this is what I'm all about, right? This is my world, Puncher's Chance. And when I tasted it, it's the sweet nectar of the bourbon gods, I call it. And with that being said, we just got voted the top 5 best sipping bourbon in America. And we won 6 gold medals.
What?
And I came out with a single barrel version 2 months ago called the Undisputed. This is 90 proof. The Undisputed is 105 proof. I came out with a 14-year reserve called the Left Cross, made in Jamaican rum barrels. And I came out with a 12-year reserve, and it's going great. It's one of the fastest selling.
Everything you touch turns to gold.
You know what? Call me Mini Rock. I'm sorry, Dwayne. I had to say it. I got to kid you. You did it this time at the Super Bowl. I should have been there, but it's all right.
Bruce, I know this is like
Am I able to try this?
Go ahead, break it open.
Okay.
so.
If anyone.
Anyway, it's available in all the stores everywhere around, or just go to puncherchancebourbon.com and have it delivered to your house.
Cool. I want to talk a little bit more about your story. I mean, we didn't really get into much about it, but speaking of, people getting into things later on in life, not having, the time to really, like the advantage that way. But you got into what you're doing now you're announcing and everything in your 30s.
Yeah, it's strange. Michael started around 37, 38, and I started around 37, 38.
Yeah, okay, so that's a crazy story. You are the announcer, and you're known for the voice of the UFC. Now, Let's Get Ready to Rumble is your brother,
Yes.
Michael Buffer.
Right.
And he is the
Legendary
voice
greatest
of
announcer of all time.
boxing.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Is even like Super Bowls and like every major event, Let's Get Ready to Rumble. So it's the two of you. But you met each other at 30 years old. You didn't even know of each other out there. You didn't even know that he existed.
What? Really?
I had no idea.
You watched The Whole Impulsive? You didn't know this about him?
Yeah, I missed that
It's
part.
an insane story. I tell people this story. Before I even met you, Bruce, I've been telling people this story, and nobody believes it. They're like, that's impossible. That's got to be made up. Wait, his brother does boxing, he does UFC,
Yeah.
and they didn't know of each other until their 30s?
Wait, and so this is the same. Y'all have the same father than when you're telling about in the
We
story.
have
from
the same
earlier?
father. Michael is 77 now. I just turned 66 on Sunday. And basically, we met each other when we were around 28 years old. I was 28, he was about 43. I was 30, and he was about 43, give or take a year. My memory, I forget sometimes. But what happened is I always watched boxing with my dad. I was watching boxing straight out of the womb. It was a Tuesday night, Saturday night, Sunday, steak and baked potato and boxing on TV. Right?
Sounds great.
You guys have the same father.
Same.
It's the same.
Michael and I have the same father. My brother I grew up with is named Brian, my full brother. And so anyway, what happened is this debonair, great-looking James Bond man walks out, dressed to the nines, suddenly becoming more famous than the boxers, saying, "Let's get ready to rumble," the phrase that started really taking off. And they chyron on the screen, Michael Buffer. And remember, I own telemarketing companies. So I saw every phone book there is looking for my last name, never saw it because we didn't have the internet back then. And then when he put it on the screen, I got a weird feeling in my stomach. Who is this guy, right? So long story cut short, after a period of 6 months, calling Don King's office, Bob Aaron's office, finding little tidbits here and there, people start coming up to me and say, "Hey, is that your brother, the guy that goes, 'Let's get ready to rumble'?" I go, "No, my brother's Brian," right? So then I'm driving up north with my dad one day, and I basically, he knew this was happening, and we talked a little bit before, and I said, "Dad, it's just getting crazy. Everybody's asking me about this guy. Do you have any idea who he is?" "I think that's your brother," right?
No way.
"No way, Dad, what are you talking about?" "Son, I never told you. I was married during World War II briefly. I went overseas to do my thing. Came back 9 months later. A son was born. I last saw him when he was in the area of 2.5. It's just one of those stories. Don't think bad about my dad. It's just one of the things that occurred. Michael was raised by foster parents under the name of Huber, right? His entire life, he had a beautiful Leave It to Beaver lifestyle with his foster parents or step parents. And when he was not formally adopted, when he went in the Army at 20 during the Vietnam War, they said on your birth certificate says you're Michael Buffer, not Michael Huber. You're Michael Buffer, right?
Yeah.
So he went from Michael Buffer from that point forward. Had that not happened, I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you right now because when I met Michael, finally, my dad got in contact with him. They had lunch together. Turned out to be his son. And then 2 weeks later, we met for dinner. We all got along famously. And over the next 3
That'd be a nerve-wracking experience.
it was
no?
crazy because here I am a fan, and then walks in somebody that's my blood,
Yeah.
and I can't begin to tell you the experience and what it felt like, but it was a great experience. And then I started traveling and doing my businesses, going to New York, doing what I had to do, but I'd stop off in Vegas or go to Vegas. I'd meet him for fights. We'd party together. We'd have fun together, getting closer. He lived in Los Angeles, and it was in 1992, February 16th, 1992, if I'm not mistaken. Riddick Bowe fought Evander Holyfield for the very first time at Thomas and Mack. And I went and watched that fight, and I watched how everybody reacted to him for the umpteenth time saying the Rumble. And an epiphany light bulb went off in my head, and I went back to my room instead of going to gamble and party with girls and do what we all like to do in Vegas. And I sat in my room, and I couldn't stop. I just kept writing like a robot, like 3 pages of notes, put them in the NBA, football fields, toys, video
Just
games,
money-making
movies,
ideas.
just all the stuff coming out. And I met with him shortly after, and basically, long story cut short again, I said, "Michael, I want to make you rich," in so many words, "I want to make you richer and more famous than you ever dreamed, hopefully myself in the process. I was telling you to trademark this phrase. You did trademark it, but I did my research. It needs more trademarking to be solid. I need to become your manager and your partner. So when I make a video game or a toy, we're partners. Whatever. As a manager, I want to direct your career. I want to build this, and I want to do this, 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 and this." And he's like, "How are you going to do all that?" I go, "I don't know. I really don't know, but I'm going to figure it out. If I'm going to sell what I have here," I was burned out on what I was doing. I did not like what I was doing. And I was very passionate about this idea, and I'm a man of passion, like I am when I announce in the UFC. I mean, I do that for 27 plus years because I'm passionate about it. Whether it's the bourbon, whatever, I do what I'm passionate about.
It's very good, by the way. Sorry, just want to say that. It's
You like it?
amazing. I love it.
Yeah? You want to give it a review? A little
Do you want to give it a rating?
Smoky. I don't know.
Ooh,
if
nice.
you remember, it's a good smoky. I don't know how to really rate.
Just do your best.
Just say whatever you wanna say.
Compare it to
Right.
something in like a real world environment.
It reminds me of Yosemite.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a
nice
very
camping
interesting
trip.
line. I like
Sitting
that.
by the campfire. It's a little bit cold out, right? And it kind of warms your insides. It's very nice.
Ooh.
Very smooth.
That was perfect.
Very good.
You're gonna make me relapse over here with all this stuff. It sounds great.
Smoky Yosemite. Yeah.
You might have a future in the reviews.
Yeah, that wasn't bad. I like that. I appreciate the
Sorry for
review.
interrupting your story, but that was fantastic.
Taste my single barrel version. You go crazy on that.
Really?
One. Yeah.
The slogan on the back is great, by the way, too.
Thank you. Yeah, the admonition, all that's there. It's all. We won 3 gold medals just for the design of the bottle.
I also had, so you know how you said you wanted that pro debut
Kentucky.
fight?
Nice. It's
Why
best
don't you
whiskey.
do it with your brother? That could be your pro fight.
No, I'm
against your brother.
I'm done.
So, Bruce,
Getting back to the other.
imagine you two had met when you were younger. You come into this guy's life and you guys just take off. You guys would have been like the Paul brothers, but bigger, you know?
Well, I mean, if we had the internet and the social media that's today, I mean, we've done wonderful. I could imagine what we would have done if I had everything at my disposal.
I wish you would answer the question 25,000 a word. I still you tiptoed around it. You
Hey,
know?
perception is reality. Let them think what they want. But
Yeah.
anyway, getting back to the other, I basically just said, Michael, I'm going to make this happen. And I sold my 2 companies. I quit with the money I had in the bank, and I just started shaking hands, taking names, traveling the country, going to trade shows, toy shows, business shows, cold calling every football team there is to get them on the field. Whatever it took to build the business. And it was one thing that really propelled us. You ever hear of a CD called Jock Jam?
Of course.
That came out like in 96 or 97.
There was like, what, 500 of them? It was like every year they would put one out, right?
Yeah, well, there's 2. There was 2.
Oh, that's it?
That was.
I thought it was like remember those like compilation albums back in the day when they would put them out for like kids and stuff like that?
Kids
There was
Bop
one-
or something? Or,
Exactly.
like-
and there was one called Jock Jams that was what, like arena songs.
It was all the
right?
arena songs
Yeah.
that people would take because when you have a song, you make it part of BMI and ASCAP, and then every arena can play it, DJ can play whatever.
Right.
One of the smartest things I ever did is I didn't make his thing. He just went, ladies and gentlemen, blah, 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 let's get ready to rumble. And then I went into that 2 Unlimited, dun, 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 dun. But the first cut was him saying the rumble. Now, if I did that under BMI and ASCAP, then it could have been a Where's the Beef? It could have had an Andy Warhol 15 minutes and disappeared. So we made it a copyright. And that way, if you took it off that album and played it, as everybody did, which caused me to have to contact them to say, no, you need to pay us.
Ooh.
We'll give you a license. This is the way this works because it's not BMI. It's a trademark. It's a copywritten trademark. That album helped propel him even further. Not that he never would have gotten there, which gave me all the fuel and fodder to continue to do what I did. And, which led into one of the top-selling video games, Ready to Rumble Boxing, which was a huge game back in '99 and 2000.
I heard you
I
almost
thought it
grossed,
was
you grossed about
WWE.
You grossed about 100 million in sales overnight,
We
right?
grossed over, between ventures, retail sales, everything, I don't know the exact figure, but it's over 400 million in retail sales.
Insane.
Now, that's not in our pocket. You know how that works.
No, I
I'm
know.
just
Just saying, to
It's like you say
generate
a
that
movie
much
grossed-
revenue off
Yeah.
of a game.
No, the game itself. Oh, the game grossed probably in the area of about $100 million.
Yeah, that's insane. And that was your first game. That was just from. What was it? A boxing game?
It was a arcade style over the top boxing game, kind of like the Punch Out game. I had this idea. I went to a company called Midway, which made Mortal Kombat, and I pitched them on the idea of making a video game called Ready to Rumble. Have Michael announce it, use over the top characters, arcade style characters. And it kind of fell on deaf ears. And then I was about to make a deal with EA for Michael to be in one of their boxing games when I suddenly got a call from Midway 6 months later saying, hey, listen, we're making this really cool game. We want to call it Ready to Rumble. It's got over-the-top characters in it, right? And I let go of my ego. I don't care if I met within 6 months before.
Wait, they just called you
They
back
called
and
me
pitched
back
you on your idea.
and pitched me on my idea.
I like that.
So I went
Dude, I fuck with that. That's great.
So I went down and met with
Gaslighted him.
I went down and met with
never met with you. What are you talking about, bro?
They were
never
great,
met you. In our
a
lives.
great group of people. I went down to San Diego. I met with them at their corporate offices. Made one of the best deals I ever made in my life with the video game. I always wanted to have a video game because I played and loved video games all my life, and even went into a room where they had like 40 or so 14, 16-year-olds just sitting in front of computers playing games, which they got all the research from. It was like one of the most amazing things I ever saw.
Like studies.
Anyway, game came out on the Dreamcast module.
Nice.
In the first 24 hours, my game, Ready to Rumble, along with 9 other games in the Dreamcast module, grossed over $97 or so million in sales in 24 hours, to the point that it made the cover. It was either Variety or Hollywood Reporter, that it made entertainment history as the highest grossing entertainment product in like 24 hours, right? Which has been far surpassed by Call of Duty and all these others.
Grand Theft Auto, probably.
So I can just say that it's like, great, we made part of history.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
And I'm the first one to cash the check at the bank on a Monday, but you get to the point in life that experiences like that, or goals or achievements like that, forget about the money. It's just great. That's what fuels the
not
fire.
bad for your first game. Well, you as an entertainer now, your personality, your energy, that's what people know you for. You're a personality. What you do.
Just call me Bruce, but I'll take it.
So, I mean, this came about after you helped your brother build up his brand, and then you're like, you know what? He's doing all these spots. Maybe I can get in here. Was it like a talk, or like, hey,
No, it
Michael, can I do this too? Am I going to step on your toes? Or
I mentioned to him when we first got together that I was fascinated with announcing, and I would love to announce, because I did motivational speeches, and I was like Alec Baldwin and Glenn Ross. I ran, I would come in and put 100 salespeople on their spot, set them straight. I mean, I was very tough, but I got the most sales out of everybody. I was always a producer. So I knew how to talk and relate and stuff like that, and talk in front of groups of people, but there was something fascinating about being an announcer. But we agreed that it was a confliction of interest. He said, there's no money in it. Nobody's making a full-time living except for me, basically. And it really wouldn't be that great an idea. And I said, you're absolutely correct, right? You're right. So I said, don't worry, something will come along. UFC came along. I had Michael do the first, do UFC 6, 7, and Ultimate. He fulfilled his contract. We had to honor our WCW contract because they were upset he was doing UFC. It would have been hard for Michael to grow at the pace the UFC grew, and stayed with him. So I basically said, you know what? And Michael even said, why don't you go for it? And I said, I want to go for it. And I started pitching him and like, make me the announcer, right? You need a buffer in the octagon. I've got the media contacts you don't have. I'll help you build this brand. I'll do way more than just be your announcer. Fell on deaf ears. Wound up managing a fighter named Scott the Pitbull Ferrazzo into UFC 8 down in Bayamon, Puerto Rico. Put my tux in the bag, going down as his manager. Convinced the owner, Robert Meyerowitz, to let me do the prelims. He let me do the prelims. I look at it now, I want to close my ears, just whew. But I did it, went out, cut my teeth, came back home, would fly into New York, on business, meet with them, have drinks with them. Hey, make me the announcer. However I did it, nothing was happening. They called me about 6 months later to go into UFC.
6 months later.
What?
They called 6 months later, like, yo, we have an idea.
I got the 6-month window.
We want to pitch you become the announcer for UFC. But you do so much more than be the announcer. You've got the media contacts. You just do all these
Well, that
things.
was me. All they wanted was the announcing. I'm the one that brought it in.
But instead, we want you to say it's time. They gave
No.
Did you come up with that? It's time.
Yeah. I'll hit you that in a second. So I'm going to make this real short, otherwise we're going to be here for 2 hours. So I did UFC 10 in Dothan, Alabama. They called me, said, can you be there in 2 days? I heard the Rocky song go off in my head. Dun, 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 dun. I get down there, I do it. I watch it, think I do a good job. I call them, okay, we ready to make a deal? No, they hired somebody else, okay? They hired a friend of the producer, and they had another announcer. Little time passes. Then they call me like again 6 or 8 months later. And they say, listen, we're doing a TV show. This is a real short version, guys. We're doing a TV show called Friends, which was in its 2nd season. And it's called The Ultimate Champion. Tank Abbott's going to be on it. Big John McCarthy. John Favreau's co-starring on it. The announcer's a voiceover, but Warner Brothers would like a real announcer. So they want to come down to your house, pick up some audio and tape, and see if you'd be good for the show. Warner Brothers called me at 6 o'clock. You're hired. Be on the set tomorrow morning. Rehearse all day. Film on Wednesday. You're done. And I got my SAG card. It was my first real experience in film. Or in TV and film. I told the owner, I said, look, Robert, meet me on the set at lunch. Let's talk. I got to talk to you. And I basically said to him when I saw him on the set, I said, look, I feel like a girl waiting, to be asked to the prom. And I've been waiting now for like a year and a half or more, and it's not happening. I'm going to ask you one more time. I need to be your announcer. I want to be your announcer. I will help you build this sport, build this brand. I'm a brand builder in every way I possibly can. I don't want any money for that. I just want to be your announcer so I can grow. And I will be more than that for you in the years to come. And it was the best poker hand I ever played at that time. And that's when it started.
Really?
Yep.
And now
1996, and I've been doing it for 27 plus years.
In 1996, Mark Schultz fought Gary Goodridge. Do you remember those fighters? I went back and watched some of the first UFC fights, and they were insane.
Which UFC was it?
Mark Schultz. This is UFC 9.
UFC 9,
Yeah, no gloves.
I did
They
not
were-
do. Remember, I did UFC 8. I did the prelims.
Oh.
And then, that's back in the
It was a
that's
crazy
back in
fight.
the
Yeah, no
spectacle
gloves.
days.
I'm drunk a little
I was
bit.
gonna say that.
You got to remember we had
Watch your stance.
no
Just
time limits
kicking
back
in.
then. Guys would fight 2 and 3 times a night.
Yeah, but back then the names were shorter. Now you have to say these Russian names. I
I love it. I love it.
Are those tough to pronounce?
Yeah, no. Give me all the Nurmagomedovs there are. The longer, the beefier, the more syllables, then the more energy I can put into it, and beef I can put into it as an announcer.
More to work with.
I
Well,
love
and
it.
you get paid per letter, right?
Per syllable.
Oh yeah, I probably get paid, $7.50 a letter or whatever. Hey, there's Ready to Rumble right there. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know you probably hate superlatives. You've seen so many crazy fights in the UFC. You've been a part of so many crazy event nights. But we saw you in Miami, Florida, maybe a month ago.
Yeah.
For Adesanya.
Great night.
Dude, talk about electric. Being in that crowd with the people that were there that night. You can bring up the names, say whatever you want about the people, but Kid Rock, former President Trump was there. You name
Loaded
them.
Tyson, everybody was there.
Everybody.
Yeah.
Is there a night that stands out to you as one
I
of
think
the
Tom Brady
greatest?
was there. He gave me a big hug that night. Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Was there, yeah.
He got kicked by
Justin Gaethje. I told him he was one of my favorite fighters, and I said I want to see one of those leg kicks feel like one day, and he just blasted me right there on the spot.
That was on video, right?
No, it wasn't on video. I wish it
He
was.
blast you with a leg kick?
Yeah, I had a Charlie horse for 3 days.
Yeah. Welcome to the real world, baby.
Yeah, those leg kicks are no
I
joke.
don't know what it's like to get a leg kick. That's why boxers are afraid to kick. Not afraid. I don't want to say they're afraid, but they're not really into going into kickboxing. I asked
Yeah.
Roy Jones Jr. one time. He was commentating a K1 kickboxing event. I said, "Roy, you should do this." He looked at me and goes, "Nope."
Yeah.
If you don't know what it's like to get kicked in the leg, much less check a kick with your leg, it's a life-changing experience.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That taught me that day. I'm not asking no more fighters for leg kicks at these events.
Now,
I get
don't,
I get
they'll-
fired
What
up
about
because of
your
you,
checkup?
all the energy you bring in there, and then I'm like, oh, I could take a leg kick.
See,
That's
it
what
doesn't
happens.
sound
Well, if I-
that bad. Like, I feel like I could.
See, that's the problem.
No, and I'm not going to do it to you.
Drunk.
Whatever. Yeah.
He's
I am
drunk.
drunk.
Yeah,
I'm
he's
drunk.
drunk.
That's my second glass.
He's like,
It's so
yeah, I'll
good.
take a leg kick.
No, you
Do
don't.
a
Want to, you don't
backflip.
want to take a leg kick, my friend. You really don't. I mean, a serious one. But yeah, that night was electric. There's a lot of energy, and I feed off the energy of the crowd. And I remember how excited I was, just to roar away during that main event. You got to remember, I'm like a kid in a candy store. I'm passionate. Like I said, passion. I'm passionate about what I do. I love what I do.
Yeah, you could
I mean,
see
I
it.
could,
for
I could be
sure.
having the worst thing happening, God forbid, in my private life. Knock on wood around here. Get in that octagon, and it gives me a chance to block everything out and do what I love.
What is a day in the life for you like on a fight night? Like what is your, like? Do you fly into that city that
Usually
morning, or do you?
Domestically, I fly in on Friday, get all my card work done that night. I'm like a nun before a fight. When I was younger, I'd go out and party. I didn't care, do whatever the case might be. But I got a job to do, so I like to have a great dinner, hang out with some friends, or just chill.
When
You run the names
when
a
do
few
when do you
times?
usually wake up.
You run-
I don't rehearse. I will when I write the cards. The UFC is a well-oiled machine. We get sound files from the fighters, and we all John Anik, Rogan, DC, and I. We all stay in sync with each other. That's the one thing I make sure is I have the fighter's name correct.
Yeah.
Outside of that, I write the cards. I'm absorbing everything on the cards. So when I get in the octagon, if you notice, I'm not like this. I'm moving around and doing my thing.
Yeah.
But if my card's over here and I forget that Chuck Liddell's 6'2", I can go like that and see it real quick. Right? You just get this knack for it after a while.
Have you ever messed up like what you were saying?
Sure, I'm only human.
Yeah.
Yeah, one time I looked at Mario Yamasaki, a Brazilian referee, and we were in Brazil, and I'm looking at him, and I go, and your referee in charge of the octagon, Herb Dean, as I'm saying, and it's like my mouth's going like Herb Dean. I know I'm saying it wrong, but you had to fly over. Or one time I got out, another time that was pretty prominent, I think it was Madison Square Garden. There were two fighters with somewhat red beards, and I announced them both, and I'm walking back to my table, and I sit down, I'm doing stuff in the cards, and literally within a minute the fight was over, the guy was choked out. I didn't see who won, right? So I got in, and I accidentally announced the wrong
The wrong red-beard guy.
dude wakes up. It's like,
which got a nice. I mean, I corrected myself correctly, but got a nice little laugh out of the audience and stuff
Yeah.
like that. I'm the first one to admit my mistakes, but I can count them. it's not that many over the years.
Yeah, because when I see you before the fight, you're hustling. You're fully
Tuned
zoned
in.
in.
Yeah.
And there's people all around, as I just said, all around the octagon.
Yeah.
People that you may want to talk to. People that certainly want to talk to you. And your interactions are pretty brief because you're focused. You're ready to rock.
You know, and I somebody published a video they got of me warming up in the octagon before the main event.
Yeah.
I don't even think anybody's looking at me. I'm getting in the mode, man.
Shadow boxing, or you're?
No, I don't go crazy. I mean, I do. I don't know what I do till I do it.
I got a problem. I shadow box all the time.
My shadow boxing is great. It's great exercise. But no, I'll be moving my legs, loosening up, getting into my zone. I called it the buffer zone, and all of a sudden everybody's talking about buffer zone. But
buffer zone.
It was funny, but you know, I want to get into it. I mean, I'm announcing the greatest female and male warriors in the fighting world, and they're in their training as they've done for 8 or 10 weeks. My job is to take them to that next level. I want to give them every ounce of what I got.
Yeah.
I'll tell you right now, I told you on the show, there's 2 ways I'm going to go. I'm either going to get hit by a great white shark, or I'm going to go, it's tough, right there, you know?
Well, you've left on a stretcher from the octagon.
No. When I blew my ACL, I
I
walked
was
out.
gonna
You walked it
Blew
off.
your ACL announcing.
Leave that for the football players, man. I don't want to. I'm kidding, guys. No, I blew my ACL in front of 55,000 people announcing George St. Pierre.
Oh, it's St. Pierre night, huh?
I severed that thing, severed in half. I had a bad ankle. Again, I won't go into the long story. I had a bad ankle. I got in there. I went through the whole night. I couldn't even stand on my leg 2 days before the show. Right? Flew up to Toronto, Canada, Rogers Arena, 55,000 people, biggest show ever in the history of the UFC. Gets down to the main event, go in, George, rush. And as I said, rush, he lunges out, which he always did, and I bunny hop back, which I always do with him. But I landed on the bad ankle, it wobbled, and my knee exploded. It just severed right there. So it was like, George, rush, St. Pierre! Right? It was a real good Pierre, but it was out of pain. Right?
Yeah.
And then I walked over to the referee, and my knee was just going like this. And I put the microphone into the ref, and I've got
Was it
my
Herb
face
Dean?
on. I think it was
Herb Dean. The way he said that.
Herb Dean. And then I go, holy shit, you know, I think I just blew my knee. I get out of the octagon, and Big John McCarthy says immediately to me, I think you just blew your ACL. Stitched around, the cut man puts ice on my knee. I rolls on my leg, ice on. Now, I'm an announcer, okay? I'm on the side of the octagon with ice on my knee, and these 2 warriors are going at it. What is wrong with that picture, okay? That's okay. And then I basically, I had to do a movie in 2 weeks or a week later called Here Comes the Boom. I had shows almost every week. It was up for another 2 or 3 months. I had a 4-week window. And Dr. Elatrosh, who did Tom Brady's knee, did my knee. And I said, Dr. Elatrosh, can you get me back in the octagon? I got to be in Philadelphia in 4 weeks. He goes, well, normally it takes a couple months, but if you listen to me and I know you, I'll get you back in there. And braced up, got back in, did my job, went to rehab for 2 months. Who comes into rehab a month later? George St. Pierre, who blew his knee in training like a month or so after I blew my knee. We both get operated on. I blow my knee in front of George St. Pierre. We both get operated on the same doctor, and we both wind up in rehab together.
Damn,
Come on,
that
the coincidence.
happened. But back to his question earlier, like UFC night, like the most
Got one of my
magical
fight cards there.
the most magical night. What was your like most memorable night that was like just
It's impossible for me to answer
they
that.
just keep topping it.
Like,
I
every
feel
time
like
I-
the events just keep getting bigger and bigger every time.
Every time I think it's the most magical night, then suddenly another great fight happens, another great night happens. I mean, I pulled that 360 off in front of Brock Lesnar of UFC 100, and I can go on to a whole bunch of great nights, but I don't live on my laurels. I don't. I'm only as good as I am the night I do the job. I just got out of the octagon last week. If people think I did a good job, then that's how good I am. I'll go in the octagon next week. It's time to audition again and show everybody the powers that be, my friends, my family, fighters, and fans, that I deserve this job. That's the attitude I take when I do this. Stay hungry, right? I don't want to get comfortable. If I get comfortable, it's time for me to retire. My passion wanes, and it's time for me to go.
Is that on the
Let somebody else
horizon?
do it.
Retirement? Where you gotta go to at least 90s.
I've been an athlete my whole life. I think I'm still moving pretty damn well. And, you know, as long as I can maintain my passion and my physicality and mental awareness.
I wasn't thinking that. I just put that idea in my head, and we don't want to say the R word around here, you know?
I'm not retiring.
R word sometimes is a different word, but
I'm not retiring. I
I'm
promise.
saying that.
No.
Yeah. Okay.
I think I'm the longest standing independent contractor, whatever you want to call me, employee of the UFC. I'd like to maintain that status.
Or maybe you get a bigger offer. What if they offer you more money for Power Slap?
I don't
Maybe
want to
go over there.
First off, that's Dana White's company. He's not going to offer me more money to leave the UFC to go over to
I need to
Power
hype
Slap.
up those slaps. It's only one shot.
I won't name the company, but I recently had a very, 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 very heavy figure thrown at me.
Was it Saudi Arabia?
And no, it would have meant leaving the UFC, and I'm not leaving the UFC.
Yeah.
You never leave the NFL. I don't care how much money you want to toss at me. It doesn't matter. This is my home. I've been with this great organization, and I feel part of it. I live, eat, and breathe UFC.
Well, you're a part of history, Bruce, and it was an honor to have you here.
Thank you.
We had a blast. Sorry if you had to repeat some stories, but
No, it was good. There was a lot of new stuff
Right.
there for
There's
sure.
a lot of new stuff too. I'm just. You got the car. You guys did your research. Look at this.
oh yeah,
I just looked it up right now. Is it you who puts them up for sale, or?
No, I've done it. Well, actually, I've done it a few times for charity on eBay. But there's a company called Inscriptographs in Vegas that has a batch, and they've sold a number of the cards. The highest price I ever paid for my card was for Amanda Nunes' Cyborg card when she beat Cyborg, and
Ooh, I was there that night.
It sold for like
Sick.
$4,100.
So you don't toss these in the trash? Someone's collecting them?
Pardon me?
The one that he's in the bathroom back
Sorry.
there.
Oh,
bad
what was that? I'm sorry. What was that?
So you don't toss these cards in the trash? Someone's like collecting them off of you?
No way.
okay.
No way. No. I've got hundreds of envelopes of cards.
Oh, wow.
I'm a big collector of sports memorabilia, so I've created a market for the cards. I've only released like maybe less than 20 shows of cards of all the
It's like
cards.
baseball cards.
Yeah.
I
I
have
had a whole business with that.
no. I have unopened wax packs from the 50s and 60s and 70s. Jordan 86, 87 Fleer. All that stuff. No, that stuff's gold. That's gold mine.
I have a pristine condition McDonald's cup from 1989 that's never been used.
Pour some
Better put that out
Coca-Cola in
there.
that thing and enjoy it.
No, it's in
No,
pristine
actually,
condition.
no.
never been used.
There's a market for that. There is a market for that. There's a market for everything.
That punch
I
is
swear to
chance.
God, I have
Yeah,
one. I
there's a
swear I
bunch
have
of
one.
chance.
What a sick thing to have. No one else has
Did you
one.
drink half that bottle already?
I'm drunk, yeah. That's my second cup. Woo!
All right.
Nice to know you were two guys that don't drink, so just enjoy the hell out of yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got Izzy and Volk on both this weekend.
Oh, that's
Coming
great.
up.
That's
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
On Impulsive?
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome. I'm excited
tell
about
them both I said hi. They're both
will.
great guys.
I go on that show once in a while. I'm like the new third guy, kind of like half
He
ass.
does that, yeah.
1 foot in. I still like to keep my own stuff going. The deal, brand building and stuff like that.
I got you. I do videos and audios for a number of podcasts, help them build their brand.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
absolutely.
Yeah. All right, Bruce, you're a legend. Thank you. Thank you again.
Just call me Bruce, but I'll take it. Thank you
All
so
right.
much. Appreciate
All
it.
right.
You think
Good
so?
job,
My mom
guys.
thinks so. I'm happy. It's all good.
We got the Puncher's Chance whiskey out now. We got the It's Time Cologne, #1 seller on Amazon. And
That's going to be followed up by a whole line of toiletries, from body wash, facial wash, deodorant, body sprays, the whole bit.
that's my biz.
It's going in.
Bruce.
It's going in 30.
Now
40
you're
countries.
stepping
I'm
on my
sorry.
toes.
Well,
You see the products.
I've got my own energy drink coming out, and I'm not stepping on Logan's paws. You can't stop Logan.
He's also an author.
It's time to
Okay, no, I admire you. That's what it's all about. Look, you got pomade. You got the that's great.
all natural deodorant. Yeah, texture
Yeah.
sprays, full skincare line eventually, and
I'm all about skincare. I'm all natural.
It's great.
So
None of that compares to this bourbon, though, dude. The bourbon whiskey that makes you frisky. Something like that. Cool slogan.
people got to understand. I know we're going over time, but guys out there is like, oh, I want to look good for my girl, or look good, whatever. Take care of your skin.
Yeah,
What you do when you're young is going to last into your older age.
absolutely.
And especially when what you put in your body. Staying in shape is 75% what you eat and 25% how you train.
If they drink enough of that whiskey, you're gonna be looking great regardless.
Yeah, dude.
Just don't put that in the car if you get pulled over, please. I don't want to get any
Liability.
liability.
It comes back
say
to
that. I'll
him. He's
say that.
underage. Wait, he's 12 years old. No, he's an adult. He's 23. Yeah, but he does look like a giant baby.
Imagine. Yeah.
Well, thanks, guys. No,
All right,
appreciate it.
can I give you some products and stuff? Of course. Yeah, I'm gonna.
Yeah.
See you at the next event.